Hi everybody, Jo here again. How you doing? It's officially for me Christmas jumper day today. So I've got my lovely Christmas jumper on. It's got some little polar bears on the front. Anyway, so I thought I'd come in today and make a Christmas card just for you. And it's different to any of the cards I've made before because it's going to be our special Christmas card. So I hope that's okay with you. And I've left this one open because I wanted to show you. Obviously, as well as decorating the front, I've gone for a real classy design today. Again, just for you. But I've also decorated the back look. And I tend to do this when the card's flat. And then when this is all dry, I'll obviously make the card shape. And because I'm going to give you this, I've decorated the envelope too. And it's a nice, I know the majority of you really enjoy your rectangular cards, and obviously we've got the postage issues and things. So we're going to start with one of those lovely smaller pieces of card, and this is the multifarious, the B7. Just such a lovely size to work with. And I'm going to just pop this over here. And I'll start with my stamping. You know what I'm like. Have a bit of a plan and I go with it. Now, I'm only going to use a couple of colours of Versafine Clair today. And I know a lot of you really like blue, so I'm going for blue. But you could easily change this up. Purple, you know, any colour. I didn't go for vintage because I seem to have done a lot of vintage recently. But there again, I seem to do a lot of everything recently. And I've gone for Twilight for my darker colour. And then I've brought in some Arctic. And in the elements, we're going to come in with Della blue. And I'm going to start with one of the lovely seasonal words, and I've gone for Christmas. And I'm going to do this in the Twilight, so it really stands out. And the hardest thing for this for me is getting it straight. So I want it near the bottom, so I'm just going to put it there. And then, as we've been doing recently, we're going to add the happy. And this is from the mailbox names. And again, we'll stick with the same ink. And again, the hardest thing here for me is getting it straight. So if my head comes over, there we go. So we've got our lovely happy Christmas. Now, I'm going to change now and come to the Arctic. And I've got a couple of snowflakes. Now, this one is off the small snowflakes, but this is off a set just called Snowflakes. And it's quite an older set. And on it, you've got 2 individual snowflakes and then a snowflake with 3 in one. And it's just called Snowflakes. So, you know, that'll confuse you. But what I wanted to do with the Arctic look is come in first with this little one and just stamp it over the eye on the Christmas. And then I'm going to come in with, and I liked the way these I thought looked similar shapes. But it just seems silly, doesn't it? This is from the small snowflake and this is just a snowflake. But obviously these were created, Tracy drew these first and then came in with these. So this one, I'm just going to pop here. And then what I'm going to do with the Diddy one, I'm just going to add one here, just coming off the page. And then I want to work on that diagonal. So we'll just have one over here. And I'm going to stop there. I like that way we've just sort of got that shape. I'm going to give that a blot. Remember, Versafine Clair, you know what I'm like, slow drying ink, so make sure you blot it. Because we're going to add a little bit of stencil work now, just in the background. And I'm going to come in with the snowflake stencil. And I just want to sort of get a nice shape. I want to sort of have this here. I am a bit funny, you know. I do take I was going to say ages, but I like to just get a nice shape with my stencils, and what you'll find is often turning them round, it just gives you a different, so don't rush into just plonking your stencil down and going through it. Move it a bit and see. Right, Della Blue. The larger of the stencil brushes, and mine's a well-used ink pad. And I'm just going to come in and just really where we've put that ink. So I'm going to go across the wording, the sentiment, the happy Christmas. And then in this corner, and often this is something I like to do, is almost follow. You're almost chasing that stamping with your stencil work. And that's why it's important to just blot that ink. So let's have a look. I'm going to hold it, look. Oh, and I like that. Yeah, I'm actually going to stop there. Now, obviously, I can spritz this, get myself an extra background in my journal. But look at that. If I bring it up, we've just got that lovely stenciling in the background. And you've got that lovely, I love a bit of a diagonal. Now, I don't want to do a lot more to this. You could add some glitter. I'm not going to go for glitter today. I'm going to come in with my liquid pearls and then a little bit of Posca. And when it comes to this, it's knowing which. I'm going to put my liquid pearls on first and then my Posca on top. So liquid pearls, it's lovely, it's dimensional, but I would always recommend test it on your mat first because again, it can blob. And I'm just going to start off, you sort of touch the paper and then lift up. Just in the middle of each snowflake, I'm just going to add myself a lovely sort of blot of this. It almost dries and looks a bit like a gem if you've not used it before. Lovely stuff. It does take, I always say, overnight to dry. But then in this corner, I'm just going to add a grouping of 3. And then in this corner, I'm just going to add 1. Again, just to follow that diagonal. Now, it might be you want to actually look, I could add just another 3 here, just little ones. If you want to do little ones, don't squeeze it as much. And that will just follow your eye. And if I lift it up, look, if you've not used them before, you can have quite small ones. And then finally, oh, and that's the white liquid pearls. Comes in lots of different colours, check it out. And we'll add a little bit of Posca Snow. And this is just in the background. It's not going to be really obvious, but if it wasn't here, I would notice. Now, I've done this as a Christmas design, but you could use this and use other designs. Think of what sentiment you could use, what stamps and what stencil have you got that goes with the stamps, and almost follow the recipe, follow the plan. So that's your homework. So I've created this clean and simple, classy Christmas card. Maybe you could see if you could use the recipe with a sentiment stamp, just a couple of stamps and a stencil and create something similar. But maybe as a birthday card or a thank you card. And there's what it looks like when I've just matted and layered with a little bit of, I went for like a frosty blue, lovely crisp blue. And then, as I say, the envelope, I've gone for this corner. So I hope you like the Christmas card I've made for you. And I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. And I can't wait to see you in the new year because we have got so much planned for next year. Obviously, none of which I can tell you yet, but you will find out soon enough. So please, enjoy yourselves, relax, just chill. And also, have a nice cheeky brew and biscuit, something special, bit of a festive treat. And I can't wait to know, what's your festive treat going to be? Let me know. You take care. Please look after yourselves. Be kind. Be festive. I'll see you again soon. Love and hugs from me. Bye for now.